Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome to part 2. This is me chasing around my house, trying to avoid the drilling, which seems to have started outside the front of my house. But let's see how far we go with this video. I want to talk about this more in detail. So this is part 2 of why I turned off my laptop for 10 days, what I found, what came up, and where next. I also want to start by saying this has been in our conversation for a long time, maybe the last 7-8 years, maybe the last decade on the internet. This sense of a nomadic lifestyle, earning money while you sleep, traveling the world with your children. Lots of these things have been said as sort of marketing jargon, like I was in a corporate job and now I travel the world with my children, etc. Now, lots of those things obviously appeal to me, like I want to take my children on adventures. If I can earn whilst I'm doing that, happy days, very lovely. But I also want to say that it's not all fun times all of the time when you're traveling with small children. It's just not. Tired, hot children who are out of their routine, out of their normal environment. It's quite hectic sometimes. I also will happily admit that I am somebody who has quite a who would enjoy that cutoff time in the evening where they both go to sleep, because I need it, they need it, and I love having, even if it's just like another hour to myself, I really enjoy that. And on a holiday like that, especially if you're in a place like Spain, everybody stays up late. And I always wanted to say that even though it's kind of like the Instagram version and the actual reality, there are always lots of moving parts in that puzzle. And it's not all glowy all of the time, but I'm sure you know that anyway. All right, number 6. Going back to my point number 3 about growth, I've realized that I'm not going to just get to that next stage, or not even that sense of success, but being the person that I want to be in the world, as in if I'm with my children, I want to be present. I'm not going to get that by just doing more. And in fact, I want to really work on being more and being in conversations. And that could be in a conversation with myself. So there were a couple of times where in the pool, in the villa, there were about 5 or 6 of those noodle things. And I really loved that time when everybody had got out of the pool and I just sort of lay one across the back of my shoulders. And I was just sort of bobbing around in that pool and just being in that moment, being in that sense of enjoyment, of relaxation. And that brought so much clarity for me, rather than going, I'll just send another email, I'll just create another piece of content, I'll just do more. And instead, just being and allowing and listening and reflecting and just enjoying that life, isn't it? Also, because of the wedding, I had lots of conversations with people. And if people ask you questions, I'm always, I always get so much information about how I answer something. And so listen to how you're answering, listen to how you're talking, listen to how you describe yourself or what information that you share, because it will give you more and more information about where you go next. So for example, if you're talking about something and you're saying, it's down to the economy, it's down to this and this, or if you're speaking in a negative way, maybe there's something in that for you. Maybe there's an opportunity to reframe that or find another way or to pivot. And that's a very sort of simplistic thing. But yeah, there were certainly times when I was talking and somebody was asking me about something, and I listened almost back to myself afterwards. And I said to myself, wow, I made loads of excuses for myself then as to why I was not doing the thing. And I was never going to go back to that person and go, oh, just by the way, I was making up loads of excuses for myself then. Like, no, like I was in the moment of the conversation. But I found it really fascinating because sometimes what we say to people, what we say to ourselves is not always the truth of the situation. Interesting. Number 7, I really wanted to open up to some new inspiration and what I need. So the light and the space of, and even like walking around a Spanish supermarket for me, I find it really inspiring. I want to see how different people do things. I want to look at families on the beach and see how they're interacting. I want to see different types of couples. I want to see different types of people, how they walk, how they talk, what's going on for them. I find those things really, I just basically like being in the world and seeing what's going on for people and experiencing that. And also, by being true to where I want to go next, I've also really established what I need more of. And so, for example, one of the things that I might think about later on down the line is some sort of kids club. We might go self-catering I don't know if that would work in a hotel, but that sense where in a resort that children could go off for a couple of hours in the morning. Like I was thinking, God, that would be quite nice to read my book or have a little sleep. That would be lovely too. I also thought about the parts of my business where I'm working on and I should not be doing that job. Somebody else who is better qualified, better at the thing, more in alignment should be doing that, and I should be freeing up my time for other things. I think that came when I was walking down the beach one night. So yeah, that inspiration can really bring stuff up to the surface and allow you to notice what is going on. Number 8, being in the present moment. I really want to be in that present moment because we've all sat around dinner tables with people who are on their phone or they're thinking about somebody else or something else. And I really crave that connection. And with technology, how brilliant it is and how busy we all are, it can be so easy to distract yourself or not be there or not be in that moment. And I've really thought, certainly since post-pandemic, how important life is. And we only get one go. And you really have to be in it, because if you're not, it just passes you by. And that was a very solid moment for me with the laptop of saying, it's going to be too easy if I have it there for me to just check something, or to say to one of my children, like, just 1 minute, I'm just doing something, or to come up with stuff. And again, going back to my point number 2, for me, it's easy to keep working. And so I wanted to challenge myself to be in that present moment, to give my children what they needed and give myself what I needed, and Matty, and to be in that headspace. Number 9, it allowed me to truly connect with my vision. It's all very well having things on our vision board or our bucket list or our goal list and saying, like, I'm going to do that this year. And then you achieve it and then you kind of go on to the next thing. And for me, I do have experiences or things that are really easy to tick off on my bucket list. But I also have things that are feelings. And I remember having it like during Luna's pregnancy and the early months of her being born, that I wanted to thrive and not just survive. And knowing that that was the goal, knowing that that was the feeling, it helped me make different decisions as to the moves that I made. And so, for example, there might have been times where I might have said yes to something when it should have been an absolute no, because I was committed to thriving, not surviving. Because I knew if I said that yes, like, yeah, I'll come across London and I'll do X, Y, and Z, I knew that I would be pouring from an already very empty cup. And so really connecting with that vision, that sense of holidays. And I also saw it as a bit of an experiment as well, because one of my ultimate goals, and I've spoken about this so much, is to only work in term time. So every summer holiday, every half term, every Christmas, I want to have that choice as to whether I work or not. Now, I'm not quite sure how that balance will work out, and whether it's like I'm burning myself out in term time to get everything done. I don't know that dynamic yet because I'm not there. But my daughter goes to school September 2023. And so this year, I feel like it's about experimenting and seeing where I am within that and what needs to shift and change. And so really being in that moment of, does this work? I think people do this sometimes where they maybe move abroad for a year, or they go and try out living in an area for a couple of months. They might say, gosh, actually, would I have enough to do? Or would I meet the people that I would want to hang out with? And I feel like this has been an experiment. This has been an experiment as to how we travel as a family of 4. I definitely need to pack more clothes for the children. This sense of like, I've got something for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, an outfit. I now know that I need more, because if you've watched small children going in swimming pools, like they literally just take off the stuff that they have and then it gets wet and all the rest of it. That is something that I now know. But also I now know that they are much better travelers than I thought that they might be. So all of that emergency stuff I took for the plane, the activity books and all the rest of it, they didn't really use it. They didn't really need it. And so it will help me make different decisions next time. And so because that goal is important to me, I really, really wanted to be in it and experience it. And number 10, even though what do you do and what's your job or what's your goal or how much money do you earn or what kind of house do you live in, these very sort of societal markers of success, they're really, really not the whole picture. And that is an incredible privilege to talk in that way, but because I know that that is not the case for everybody being in that safe environment. But I'm talking from a perspective that if you've been to some kind of wedding or a gathering, or you're interviewed for a job or whatever it might be, these very sort of surface questions of ticking the boxes of society come up a lot. And people might think that they have to come up with a great answer. And we've done it throughout our lives. Like, where did you train? Where did you study? Who do you work for? When was your last holiday? Etc., etc. And I want to say that those external things are not the full picture. To me, that is not the whole picture of a successful life. And one of the things that was one of my favorite parts of the whole experience was after about 2 a.m. on Thursday evening, when there was a group of maybe 20 of us at the end, and a real mix of the bride and grooms and like pals of my brothers that he'd grown up with, and a few family members, and a group of about 20 of us danced for like 3 hours or 2 hours. And I am not a late night person, but I loved it. And when I say dance, I don't mean just did a little polite to the side little jig. We were messing about, and we were just, we were in circles and we were leaping about, and everybody had bare feet or flat sandals, and it was just full of so much joy and fun. And when I think back, and I'm surprised my brother didn't say this in the speech actually, when I think back to me and my brother being little children, one of our favorite things to do was to play with my dad's hi-fi. And he had one of those proper 80s thing, when you're like the tape deck, the radio, something that nobody knew, CD player, record player. It was one of those. And if we had been good or well behaved, we would be allowed to dance in the living room and have free access to all the music. And one of the things that I used to make my brother do or suggest that would be a good idea, he kind of went along with it, and sometimes I would return the favour. I used to ask him to climb on the telly unit and flick the light on and off as I danced. And that was just Billy Basic, simple fun. And then I would do it and then he could dance. So just got cramp in my butt. Okay, is that going to go? Yes, it is. And that took me back. That memory took me back of his wedding, of like what we used to do as kids. And that was part of the process. That joy, that fun times, enjoying life. It was just a beautiful thing. And so that's what I gained. There will be more to come around this topic of small changes that you can make that have a profound impact and effect on how we do business, how we do life, how we show up from a place of being able to perform at a high level and to be able to give to our clients and our work opportunities, but also give to ourselves and our life and be in that moment too. I would love to know what you gain from this series. As always, I am sending so much love and thanks for listening if you've made it this far, and I'll speak to you very soon. Also, I'm going to plan my next adventure because I've definitely got that holiday bug. So if you've been somewhere, if you want to recommend somewhere, please let me know. My children are nearly 3 and nearly 7. So yeah, any recommendations, send them my way. All right, lots of love and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.